On today's Minute Apes, hi, my name is Ari, and welcome to Human City. Let's teleport over to Ape City. Whew, that was exhausting.
Divine bomb.
They are the good human and the dead human.
There is fire, there is smoke.
Now fight like
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd, and I am bewildered by my new big screen setup that literally is, I could not figure out where the buttons were to push. I got this nice big expansive screen, and it was simply because I've been using one Mac forever.
Do you still need the Mac?
I do. It's allowing me to do another set of things, but the problem is I'm not used to this yet. So I'm so used to the other way.
You're so excited that A, you haven't introduced us, and B, you let him get away with giving an intro that has nothing to do with the minute. Yeah, you give me shit every time.
It does have to do with the minute.
Hang on, girls. I was simply talking about my damn monitor, and I could not figure out what the fuck was going on.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. That is Richard. That is Sean over there. And
We've lost an hour. I'm grumpy.
That's what it took for you to be grumpy?
Oh.
So it's daylight savings time, I guess. Is it?
Yes.
Are both of them always called daylight savings time? Mm-hmm. You know, when you flip.
No.
You're either on daylight savings times, or you're off daylight savings times.
It's one of those that to me I kind of go,
it's
what?
all stupid. Just get rid of it.
Sean was already mad about it, I guess, yesterday when you texted us, and it was like, I know what the in-between's about. I'm already mad. It doesn't ever faze me.
Yeah, so we are on daylight savings time.
We're on it.
Mm-hmm. Daylight savings time runs from March 12th to November 5th.
It's silly. I don't really understand why we do it. But
so why is it like the dominant part of the right? That's more than 6 months, right? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, 8 months of the year daylight savings time, and 4 months of the year are off of it. Right. Why? Never mind.
I don't get it either. But here we are. It's a Monday.
Hey, welcome
Sean's taking issue with your tease. Sean, what is your issue with his tease?
Well, I mean, we were watching a video. What does that have to do with the movie?
Well, you want me to talk about the minute itself?
We can get to that.
We're gonna talk about the fact that two random apes from the Oberon just randomly show up over at the other place without clearly having any horses, any time lapse whatsoever. This week is nothing but characters just reappearing in places, seemingly seconds later.
Now, to be fair, I have to do this. To be fair to Sean, I kick Sean in the proverbial testicles time and time again because his teases tend to be more flinging poop jokes and things like that.
What it was.
And the teleporting comes from something you were showing us leading into this.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll touch on that in
Sure.
between, and we can laugh about that. We can actually play back some of it, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But to be fair to Sean, it is a stretch, but it worked. So with that, we are at minute 81. Sean, why don't you tell us what's going on?
All right, we're going to start minute 81 with gorillas on tent duty and ends with Ari looking up from the ground.
All right, here comes some tent duty from Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Wait for it.
Stop! Come closer and identify yourself. How dare you show your face here?
It was not my decision.
I wish to speak to Thade.
As Minute81, we have an Oberon's worth of apes and humans, 2 displaced pods worth of humans and apes, so many wild humans in ape cities minus 2 gorillas, humans on the loose and monkeys on the march.
All right, visually, there's not a lot to share here. We're back in the ape encampment. We have our silverback from Leo's group stepping in, and we get... And we're actually doing a second take on this, and I can't remember. Is it Atar? Is that the name?
Atar.
Atar is there. He's the one talking. Silverback walks in, and from behind the Silverback, wah, wah, there's Ari. She pops out, and she suddenly wants to talk to Thade. We get a couple of camera pushes so that we know that these two gorillas do not like each other. They have some definite history. We go inside the tent, and there's Thade growling at us as Ari comes in. That's about the extent visually of this. I think that the three of us definitely have issue with the fact of...
How far away is Gorilla City?
Okay, there's a question.
Gorilla Encampment.
Because we've seen the kid ride the horse there, so it's at least a horse ride away.
Right. And did at any point in this movie that we've seen, did they mention that they were going to leave...
No.
Them and I'm going to go talk to Thade.
Not only that, there are 3 gorillas with a human, or 3 apes with the humans. We've got this Kroll, Ari, and Limbo, right?
Right.
2 of the 3 have now disappeared from the humans. And the humans, as far as we know, have no issue with this. They're not searching
for
out.
Potentially hours at a time.
Yeah. They've snuck away. Our humans don't care that 2 of their 3 captives, allies, I don't know what they're considered at this point, are gone. And yeah, how close is this camp to where the humans are that they can just sneak away and just be over here real quick?
I just want to understand the why that they left. Why did they leave that? The last we saw was Leo coming out, all the humans kind of knowing that they were there. And I think we even made
trying to tell them the humans to piss off.
Right. And I think that we even kind of made comment about, hey, the apes are in a camp. Shouldn't the humans be hot-footing it out of there to get a little bit of a head start?
Yeah.
And instead, for no reason, these 2 leave. Now, if they
ditched Limbo.
Yes. And if they'd had a scene where maybe they said, this is not going to end well, let me go talk to him. Okay, that would make sense. But this makes...
What cracks me up about, I'm assuming Burton shot this particular moment, is the fact that we have to have 2 little moments of Kroll walking back and forth, waddling back and forth, because clearly she's hidden behind him. Stupid. There was no real need to see him shuffle forward. Just have him kind of appear out of a shadow, and she could be behind him. We don't have to physically watch him walk and cover her up. It's laughable. It is laughable.
Oh, not only that, if we, 10 minutes ago, we had Atar and Kroll growling at each other across a river where they were, thumb-sized to each other. Yet Atar is going, who is that? Right in front of me, just slightly in the shadows.
Right.
It's the walk. This minute is ruined by the fact that he's hiding her behind him as he walks forward. Have you
ever... We're all 3 of us are married, and I'm
trying to hide somebody.
I'm going to use our spouses
with kids. I've done it with kids.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but have you really gone somewhere and you've been like,
how far can you get?
Hi, here they are. No, you've never done that. No one would.
How far can he walk into this camp with her hiding behind him? He's got an angle towards every person.
You can see her if you look down. The lens doesn't show us, but you could see her fucking feet.
That's what I mean. This is just a sloppy shot. It just doesn't even need to be in there. If we're just gonna have them show up, just have him step out from behind something.
A tent.
And her step behind from that as well. Right. That would allow him to approach without having been arrested prior to this.
Yeah.
Right? Instead, we actually see him bobble back and forth as he walks up. Shuffle. Clearly with no horse, right? Because they dropped the horse off at the horse place at the ape place.
The horse place? Is there a horse place?
There's a horse place here at the ape place.
Okay.
Sorry.
He also magically found Kroll found the one shadow that was out there.
I didn't have so much of an issue with the fact that they just magically go on their own without any conversation. That didn't bother me as much as it did Todd, but it does now that you brought it up to me. This is just a poorly done scene.
It's very poorly done. Now, to the production design, I'm going to give them some credit because, you look at these ape costumes. In the opening shot, we've got 2 gorillas that are
watching the 10 or
that's a good way to put it. But their costumes are this deepish red maroon with a dark gray black on top of it, right? That stands out against those backlit red tints. It's beautiful. When you look at the color scheme, great job with that. It is time and time again you get that these people, you're surrounding yourself with great artists who can do things. But then whenever he steps out of it, it just drives me fucking nuts, that moment when the silverback steps forward out of that shadow you talked about. Red backlight.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the most purposely lit fucking shot you've ever seen in your life? It's just like, oh my God, it's so silly.
I mean, again, to Richard's point, if they'd been behind a 10, it would have been more motivated with a shadow or something like that. But, I mean, he steps out of a shadow from nowhere.
Well, it's though that was the only pool of shadow that he could. Was he just immersed in darkness before then?
Well, that's the only way he can hide Ari behind him. And
I know this is really being nitpicking, but when we finally get to Atar kind of talking, and we kind of get the shot on the face, the way that it's lit, his hair on his head looks like he's got a giant bump in that's shaping his hair up. And I was looking at photos of Gorilla that actually have a lot shorter hair on the head and the skull. So the fact that we can kind of see almost brush marks as they're covering the two applications on top of each other is a little unusual. And I think it's probably just because the way this is lit that stands out so much.
Maybe. I also take some issue with the way that. So she.
I take a lot of
watching Kroll saunter.
Well, when she steps forward to go talk to Thade, and I don't know, this is probably unfair of me to have issue with it, but the way that these guards sort of take her in there, it's like, okay,
I'm going in the tent.
I was going to bring that up. There was something specifically because we see her walk away to go towards Thade, and they come back behind her, right? But by the time we get to her walking into the tent, it is this kind of dramatic, like they're almost picking her up and carrying her
like she's a prisoner,
as if she's injured. It was just kind of unnecessary.
Okay, well, the whole minute is unnecessary.
Well, true.
So we get to 50 seconds in. I just... Do they have specific grunts that tell people what to do whenever he goes, and they just, that means let her go and leave? But does,
I kind of felt that same thing.
Okay, beat her up. I just,
Yeah, just watching the whole moment as they move in. We have to interrupt this horrible moment for a...
would you get a notification on?
On Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, they need everybody to deploy their stuff. So
I've already done it.
Okay, good.
On the Genosian whatever.
Oh, yeah, I've already
deployed. I looked at it
and fought and everything.
This is such a boring minute that I had no problem
looking at your watch,
telling you guys what's going on with it.
Well, now I'm pulling up just to
I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up into this next minute, but there's something in the way that she is...
Something in the way
that she is approaching Thade in this minute feels out of character that I think is... I'll bring it up in the next minute.
Okay.
Right? Because there's something about the juxtaposition of how she is now and how she is in a few minutes that I wish that she had done something differently as a choice. And then maybe it's the director having her do stuff.
I really just... This minute... makes no sense. It's boring. There's no tension to it whatsoever.
There's actually, that's a good point. There's no tension to it. I mean, we're supposed to be feeling something between Kroll and Atar,
right? And
I'm just like, these just two dudes got a beef. Like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not scared. I'm not scared I don't feel any.
I feel like I feel it because they want me to feel it.
Yeah, it feels like it's supposed to be a heel turn or something, but it hasn't been. There's been no. It feels like the love triangle is breaking now, but the triangle have never been actually a foundation has been set. You know, what's her name? I can't even remember people's names now.
Dana and Ari.
Yeah,
let's talk about. Yeah, you're right.
It's like
from the last
they're
minute,
breaking up now, but they never have been together.
The last minute, we did have the moment where she sees Dana with the Frankenstein hand touching Leo's face. And Ari sees it and then pulls herself back into the darkness. So there is, to your point, a little bit of a jump in terms of what her intentions are, and I needed to hear her. She should, if she just had a small conversation with Kroll, saying this is not winnable. My hopes for what I was hoping out of this is not happening, and she may be referring to Leo. I don't know, just something along those lines, so that we know why she wants to go to Thade,
right?
Not the fact that she just got rejected, because that's now when you put it against the last minute. She's like, I guess my love isn't going to happen. So
See,
I'll go back to my.
I hadn't even thought of that is her impetus for going to this, because she feels rejected.
Well, I mean, and that'll be in the next minute as well, right? The conversation a little bit more, because Thade and Ares begin to talk about this.
In no way would I ever tell you you're reaching, but I feel like it's like this reach of it, and it's not your fault, because it's like this makes.
She just got rejected.
That's the closest that you.
So
can
is she
find
going back to her old lover?
So
yeah, that's literally the closest you can find to an explanation of why this minute happened.
So
right. The idea that she might be wanting to save the humans is something that I thought logically was happening.
And I think you're great for that. I'm sorry, Sean.
So Estella Warren pouts and runs off from a campfire, but Ari runs off back to her old boyfriend whenever she gets upset.
I guess so. Wow. Yeah. I wish there was something more that you could say about it. It feels like, there have been, again, in the old movies, there are times where we're frustrated because things didn't work. But this one, this is easily the third or fourth time where you're like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
The leaps of logic that are occurring, just, man. I can't think of anything else to add to this. I'm actually surprised that we've almost gotten 17 minutes out of this minute, because I really thought, and it's one of the reasons I was not afraid to kind of go on at the first of it, was I thought this is going to be a minute that we have nothing to talk about. So I'm shocked. Good on you boys for stretching that minute out, but I'm going to throw the gavel down and say, that's it. Everyone, have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everybody.